Just had a quick word about fellowship. Um, so many people are saying, YouTube's where I'm finding fellowship right now. That is the case. But um, the apostles said, John especially, said, these things we write to you, that you may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. And the apostles were hungry and thirsty for fellowship more than anyone. Their desire to see people saved and everything wasn't really even just because, oh, I need to have people saved and I want to bear fruit. No, they were hungry and thirsty for fellowship and kept being put in situations where they had no one like-minded. And the world was contrary to them and the churches didn't understand them, right? So that made them thirsty. And they wanted to share the fellowship they had with the Father and the Son with people. So they started the fellowship by bringing people into its flow, by bringing the gospel to them. And you see like Paul talking all the time about how his spirit was refreshed by the fellowship of the saints. It's so encouraging. And that's not selfish to want. Moses got in trouble. The reason he didn't enter the good land, some people get overly prophetic about it and say, well, he didn't fulfill the model because when he struck the rock, instead of speaking to it, he struck it twice, and that broke the prophetic model. And no, I mean, yes, but what it was is he mischaracterized God because the people were hungry and thirsty, and he interpreted their thirst as rebellion and made it look like God was mad at them for being thirsty, when God is the one who creates the thirst and satisfies it. And that's what we find in the churches, is these miniature Moseses who don't want fellowship. They don't want fellowship. They are inaccessible. They don't want to hear from you. They don't want to be refreshed by you. Their whole thing is institutional, and it's a work system that is all about man and what he's doing to make his name great. That's really what it is. Now, not in every case, but I have not met many pastors who want fellowship. And this is the way to test a ministry. There's a lot of ways to test a ministry. Test the spirits, obviously the testimony of Jesus Christ, but then also test whether it's Pauline. But you can even still be Pauline and not have this basic thirst, because you're in a season where you're just dead, or you're fully yourself. You're not able to be entreated, and you're not interested in the fellowship. And I don't know how to determine that, but the channels that you end up, like YouTube wise, probably end up sticking with are the ones where you sense there's a flow of fellowship and a mutual desire, that there's mutual encouragement going on, and there's fellowship. It's really interesting. I did that series on the Mandela stuff, and there were several people that disagreed to me that ended up changing their mind. And then there were a couple of people that disagreed that stuck with what their view was, but nobody went into each other's throats, because everybody values the fellowship more than their being right, or their position of being right about something. Now, if we're dealing with heresy, then yeah, we got to take a stand. But, there's some things that it's like, look, let's just move on. And I was really impressed how he handled that. So I have I have 300 people or something like that. And every time I get a subscriber, I lose 2, or it seems like it's been like that. And sometimes it's like, well, why don't I have thousands of subscribers? No, that would just be awful. I think God knows what he's doing. And my hunger and thirst is really, and what I've enjoyed through this, for the most part, is a flow of fellowship. If there wasn't an appetite out there, I wouldn't have anything to say. I would be so dry. I really feel things being pulled out of me in some senses as a response to the conversation that's going on. And I'll bet other people who have these kind of channels have the same kind of thing, So just encouragement that thirst is not something wrong with you. And you're not being selfish to want fellowship and complain when you don't have it. Don't let Moses in your mind tell you, oh, you're in rebellion. If you're thirsty, God wants to give you a drink. He really does. And he doesn't, at the same time, you might be shut up in a place where you don't have fellowship right now, but that's just to prepare you for the time that you will be able to have fellowship. You'll just have a richer flow because of your experience in isolation with the Lord. All right, we'll talk to you later.